Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Guys, how do you like the new set?
I love it. I really do.
Really
I think
great.
I'm very excited. You know, this is our second Can't Is a Lie show.
Yep.
And, you know, it's coming together, man. It's cool.
And Mike Singer.
Yeah.
Welcome. Second time you've been in the studio.
Second time here.
And you're
changed.
largely responsible for this work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
Very
came
much
out great.
so.
It's the first time I saw it.
Man in the arena,
Yeah,
baby.
Looking good. We have a go ahead.
Pat O'Rourke,
Nice to
a
have you
regular
here,
now
Pat.
on the Man in the Arena.
What
Yes,
do you think?
I love it.
His
I love it
patch,
all. I do
his
like the other
patch
one too, though.
barely glued on his hat.
Yes.
I want to see the flexibility.
My tailor wasn't in town.
I
They're
know.
gonna
I
fix
ate
it,
that
but-
one out.
Oh,
But I did like
Goes
the old
back.
Walmart
Green
theme.
yeah.
But
Because
I like
we,
Well,
can,
it'll come
we can
on.
be anywhere now.
Yeah.
Like, for instance,
Maybe
Mike,
Paris.
where would you like to be?
Maybe Paris.
Bobby, can we go to Paris?
I don't know if this is a good idea.
Well, we're not
Well,
even
maybe
recording
not
this.
Paris. Maybe.
Oh, look at this.
Oh my goodness!
we're in
I'm
Paris.
so impressed.
Not
And
bad.
That was a
how would you
lot
like to
better
see
than
Bet-
flying.
Be very far away.
We'd like to see a
Blurry.
nice golf course or
Sure. A nice
Paris
golf course.
is
nice
far
golf
away.
course, Bobby. Pat would like to go to a nice golf course. What do you got for us? Oh, God, Bethpage Black, home of the Ryder Cup, coming up. And when you go to Bethpage, you always see the Man in the Arena
Yes,
scrolling across
yes,
the
it's-
fairway.
It's everywhere.
Arthur, how
now.
about a nice beach scene for you?
I'm in for that.
Nice beach scene. Nice beach
All right.
scene.
Pool and a sand
You don't have
See
to
the
ever
sand
go
trap?
too far on Long Island for a nice
Yeah.
beach
All
scene.
right, Bob.
And
Hey.
there it was, a nice sunset. Nice sunset.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
you
it's like
can
the
just
California
imagine the
wildfires.
capabilities. So ordinarily we start the Man in the Arena. There's a lot of things going on all over Long Island, but in Oceanside in particular, I want to check in with Roadshow Ryan. Roadshow Ryan, are you there?
Hey LifeVackers, Roadshow Ryan here. I'm live from the Costco in Oceanside. The Roadshow kicked off yesterday and we're already making waves. We've had 3 unreported saves and about 70 people come down to demo the LifeVac and learn about its life-saving ability. Now welcome to Man in the Arena.
It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who actually strives to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, who spends his time in a worthy cause, and who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat.
Welcome to the Man in the Arena, where we celebrate courage, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of those who face life's greatest challenges head on. Brought to you by LifeVac, the revolutionary airway clearance device that has now saved over 3,400 lives. Wow, they're going nuts. 30 different countries. This show is a tribute to the heroes who refuse to stand on the sidelines. Inspired by Teddy Roosevelt's timeless words, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man in the arena. In this show, we explore the stories of those who are actively making a difference and transforming adversity into triumph. Created in 2012 by Mr. Arthur Lee, the story of LifeVac represents the power of invention and determination, a father's drive to protect his daughter and then the world. Today, we bring you stories of bravery, innovation, and inspiration, showing that even in the toughest of arenas, there's always a way to fight for hope. Join us for stories of real-life heroes, groundbreaking achievements, and the relentless pursuit of saving lives. So welcome, officially, to the Man in the Arena.
Wow. Well, like we said, this is our, we kind of continued Can't Is a Lie, the Can't chapter, right? And so that's what we're talking about today. And, you know, I had Mike on because he's an ultimate. But check this out. I was thinking about this, right? So nowadays, you know, we are the last generation that read a map, that memorized phone numbers, that had to make sure we brought a camera and put film in it, knew how to do it. So good or bad, this is what the world is. But the difference that I could see most importantly is we had to learn things and pull from our own index, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't know how to do something. We learned it and then we knew how to do it. And with LifeVac, Mike was so important because he knows so much. And I always sit there and I say, man, I wish I could import your brain, not the weird stuff, but the good stuff, right? But watch this. This is interesting.
Watch this.
Do you know how to weld?
Yes.
Do you know how to use a router?
Yes.
Do you know how to do wiring or electric? Do you know how to rebuild the motor?
Yeah.
Do you know how to build furniture?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Doesn't
it
know
goes
Cam,
on
that's
and
for
on.
sure.
But the difference is
Mhm.
it's not, he says, I can Google it. It's in there. So when we were approaching LifeVac and I had a glued together sink plunger, I went to Mike and because my thought is to figure out something new, you kind of have to pull from your resources, right? You can't Google a new suction device.
Right.
So that's where now when we bring in can't is a lie, right? So I don't think I've ever heard you say that word.
No.
No, right?
No. Of course it could be done.
So you're
Yes, of
listening
course it can be
to
done.
just
Oh, not so good either.
just to set the stage for our audience listening. You're listening to, of course, Arthur Lee, CEO and inventor of LifeVac. We're joined in the studio with Mike Singer, wingman,
Yes.
That's
Well,
right,
he
extraordinaire.
definitely will come in another
Yeah.
chapter.
and Patrick O'Rourke,
Yeah.
who's a staple here at Man
Just
in
a
the
man
Arena.
about town.
Man about town,
Man about town.
an advocate for LifeVac.
I can't
But
weld.
We are
can't
talking
weld.
about
Can you do
Certainly the man in-
handiwork?
Can't rebuild a motor.
well, there you go. You met
Well,
Mike
maybe
Singer
can't
tonight.
is it a
You have a
lot?
connection.
Patrick has
Can't do-
quite a few
Wait, I should say
kids.
can't. I'm going to learn how to.
Yeah.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
It's not a
That's my
word.
boy.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
And anybody can.
But all of these conversations on the Man in the Arena are going through the book that you wrote, Sorry, Can't is a Lie, which is available at lifevac.net, www. I don't even know if it's necessary anymore to
No,
throw
it's
those
not.
in. But you go to lifevac.net and we have a code.
Yeah.
MITA, which stands for the Man in the Arena.
Yeah.
You're going to get, I think, 15% off. There it is for the folks viewing. But
Oh, nice.
if
Yeah.
you're listening all across the country, which goes out this weekend,
But
get
we're getting big.
Sorry, Can't is a Lie, because if you tune in each week, we're going to be talking
We're
about
huge.
chapters
huge.
1 through
Huge.
20,
Everybody
all from
knows.
this book that you wrote. When you said you wrote it when you had a
Yeah,
little
well,
bit more
Jack,
time.
Jack was in Florida, and I was flying back and forth a lot. And I'm not technical savvy. I don't know how to even get on my phone on the plane. I don't care because I don't want to. So I wrote. I write when I fly down, wrote when I came back because I was trying to figure something out, and I was laughing to some extent to where that knowledge base came from. But so Mike was a guy that when I came to him, a lot of people, you can't do that, right? You can't test it. You can't. It's not protocol. You can't use it. All these can'ts.
Right. And who were those folks that were throwing this
it's
word?
the
And you already
fast
had
people
the
school system,
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's my own town. But it didn't matter because, as you'll see in the Wingman chapter, you got to get people around you could do it. But for the listening audience, right, to think about it, get rid of the word, right? That's the bottom line that we did in the first episode. This applies more to LifeVac part, where that elimination of that word comes into full play, where it turned into something very useful and has now saved 3,000 lives.
So fill us in on how you and Mike Singer connected.
Why don't you tell us? Because that's
Mike.
funnier.
That's a great.
So I actually had a trucking business, right? Worked with Arthur doing air freight. So we used to see each other all the time in the warehouse. And I used to actually call him the dancing bear. 'Cause everybody was dirty, sweaty, and we'd be riding forklifts. And Art always came in nice and sued and
Really?
clean. And we were, again, wasn't no air conditioner or anything. We were lugging stuff into the truck. So I used to
I help lug.
Yeah. So, but we always had we'd always talk, but it was always about
Dancing
project.
Bear.
projects. So always something like a project. So it was the first one that I remembered. I still have the emails. Was he was building a boat? Like he had a boat that he was restoring, and he knows the story well because he couldn't figure out on this teak boat was these little white lines in between each board, like they caulked the boat.
Like
and
you
then,
ever seen an old mahogany boat?
yeah, sure. And they have these
Guy
little white
Lombardo.
lines. So
Yeah.
after he put like 100 coats of varnish every morning, he would
I
varnish the
should have
boat.
got the answer
and then-
first.
Yeah,
You got the
And-
varnish thing down.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Took a class at
the
Mystic
problem, he
Sequel.
did. One day I walk in and he's got a full beard, and I'm like, the dancing, right? He's usually on like, dude, what's with the beard? He's like, going up to Maine, gonna learn how to build boats. I'm like,
I
got
want to
boat
look
for,
like a boat dude.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm like,
I don't sit
okay.
there and
Now,
cry.
where
It
I
was
just
kind of
wanna-
funny though because I look like it.
Yeah.
I got there, they're like, so use 220, 280 on that, whatever it takes, buddy. I'm good. I'm ready.
Yeah, 220.
Shout out
He's
to
like,
Mr.
what?
Mom, Michael
Yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah,
220,
But he's like,
221,
you don't
whatever it
know
took.
anything, do you? I'm like, no, but I got a cool cable sweater and a beard.
Yeah.
So I am a boat guy.
So we're
But
getting
anyway-
the picture,
So
but where
anyway-
does Dancing Bear tie into a well-dressed man?
It's terminology of our
Yeah, just
generation.
Yeah.
ridiculous. You know, yeah, it's the beginning of my. It's just.
But this is pre-LifeVac.
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
And you
and
let's not forget your
I was with the NYPD.
time with the NYPD.
right, for
So
20
we thank
years.
you
Yep,
for that.
Yep.
We might have to have an
Welcome.
episode just on the goofy stories.
Oh
from
my
that.
God.
All right,
Stuff.
stick
Yeah.
with
So
the
anyway, so we used to talk about now that he has 1,000 coats of varnish on the boat and we can't see the corking
Right.
anymore. How do we get the corking white?
Oops.
Now, this is
all
caulk,
these emails,
right?
right?
Caulk.
It's caulk, right?
Yeah.
It's caulk. It's
Yeah.
white, right?
Center
Women,
and line.
women when
Center
you
and
go to
line.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
be
So then we were
careful.
talking about how we were going to route each line. Each line we were going to route and then recork it so it would have been white, you know. And that's kind of where we
But
ended.
you got to have
Yeah.
some skill to use a router in that type of
Yeah,
specific environment,
Yeah.
or we're talking about a skill saw. Once again, these are from our database. Now,
Yeah.
my database is limited to his, so you go to someone who's got a better database,
Right.
right?
So you recognize that right away. And at what point in LifeVac's life
Well,
cycle?
I came running in with my glued together sink plunger and said, Mike, come on, we can do
He
this.
says, going to the FDA with this thing, and it's all tape and glue, and I'm like,
I don't know.
you
man.
We
can't-
talked
I'm like,
about
you
this.
Can't go to the FDA with that thing. I'm like, they're not gonna laugh at you, right? Let's make that better, you know. Like
You
in
said
the-
you can't go to the FDA.
I said you won't
He
go.
said, he said you're not going to go.
Yeah, I
yet.
said
Yes.
you're not gonna
Thank you,
go.
Pat. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
At this
Yay.
point, do
Yeah.
you know of the philosophy
I knew.
at all about removing can't, amongst other things that Arthur has?
Well, maybe more from just
Removing-
being a lunatic.
removing that word,
Oh no,
like
no,
he
no,
knew
yeah.
barriers, or he,
Yeah.
didn't have that word in his vocabulary.
No, I didn't know that he did it. No, yeah, it was
And
limited
It
in
wasn't
mine
a
as
little
well.
apparent.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And did
Oh,
you
yeah,
and
it's all
Marie
over the bone? Yeah.
refresh my memory, because you did appear on the first or second episode of Man in the Arena. Might have been called LifeVac Live at that point. We can't be sure. We'll check the records.
Yeah.
But I
We have
believe that you
records?
went home and you and Marie had a private conversation. Is
About
that true,
The-
or was
the
that someone
sink
else?
plunger?
No, I don't. Not with the sink plunger. I think, yeah.
I was gonna
you had
say,
your
we might
doubts.
wanna
Yeah.
know
And
this
then-
No, well,
conversation.
I don't know. She's pretty good. She was
Yeah,
on
she was
board. We used to, so fast forward slightly, when we were on our way, we ended up making
Lots
them
of
in my basement, right? We had a full facility in the basement of my house.
From the
We were-
garage in
yeah.
Massapequa, in the mind of Arthur Lee,
Yep. To
to the Warners
To
at first,
yeah,
yeah,
and
no,
then
at
to
that
Singer's
point, I think I
basement.
was in Lenny's closet.
Yeah.
Lenny's-
working at the
Lenny and
high
Lisa's
school.
Sounds like a
closet.
meth den.
Yeah. So
going
now
on?
we're in my
I
basement.
came out
still-
of the closet.
I still have a trucking business, so I'm still running around doing trucking. And I would tell Marie, just make 25 a day. Like, just make 25. Because I'd come home, there'd be none done. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
And
it's okay.
so I'd say, just make 25, you know, and then I'd come home, there wouldn't be 25 done. I'd be like, come on, Marie, just all you have to do.
Yeah,
is
but
make-"
wait,
know,
you got
now we're 50
back.
behind,
Wait,
you know,
wait.
like,
you were actually having them. We
Yeah.
were still in my glued together.
oh, yeah. I
Mess.
fast forwarded.
But
slightly.
And once again, you have to remember the can't is lie part. Is,
Right.
And once again, it'll go into wingman. But he didn't ever say we can't do this, right? Not once. He said we need to do this. We need to make a better valve. We need to shape it, right? So we would go back and forth in the design, right?
Right.
But I guess the point of future, right? He built them on a lathe. He actually
Yeah.
took, and remember when you burnt your hand?
Yeah.
That was cool. But
Yeah.
And now you have
'Cause there's a
other
lot of
people.
injuries.
Because you
Yeah,
know what
doing
happens when you
nuts and bolts.
spin something really fast and it gets hot.
Yeah, yeah,
Ah!
yeah. I
I've
thought
gotten
it
in
was-
trouble with the lather
yeah,
too,
that was
right?
with the-
Took shop in school. That was
yeah,
the
yeah,
extent of it.
Yeah, I ended up having.
Did you make the bowl or did you make another
I made the
project?
bowl
Did you
and-
make the bowl?
I made a tie
realized-
rack out of horns. I guess that was
Tie rack.
wood.
Do you still have it? I could use something
Yes,
like
the
that.
bull horns tie rack. Remember that?
Do you still
Yeah.
have it?
Probably somewhere.
Yeah.
Made the
Isn't
travel
that
show.
amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the napkin holder. Didn't we all make napkin
And we all made
holders?
like a cigar box too, like a little.
Whoa.
Remember in the
fancy.
tin shop? You folded that stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah,
Metal
the metal
shop.
shop, metal shop.
And
Metal
mine came out
shop.
so bad.
Yeah.
I was in metal shop and someone was drilling something with the drill press and it got loose and it was right across the whole shop.
Yeah.
Different
It was-
generation.
It was
Yeah.
deadly.
I had
and this
that.
the wall shop. I got electrocuted like 15 times. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God you're teaching us.
Yeah.
I remembered Walsh and Kelowna,
Yeah,
Mr. Kelowna,
Wall.
but I realized the importance of the template being in the absolute center of the bowl.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, your intersection, because I was a little off. And when I applied I don't know what it would be called, something
The
to make
chisel.
the grooves, the chisel, it shot up into the ceiling very quickly. Luckily, no one was in the
You know,
way.
it's funny,
Maybe
but
there is
they-
a reason they don't have
They
shop
trusted.
anymore.
I mean, I don't know why they trusted us, but back then, like you at the shop, they gave you power tools. Like
Yeah.
they had. Why
Well,
we were able to
do
use
you-
saw
In much
kids
different
cut their
world.
He
hands.
didn't
Well-
even know the name of a chisel. And they let
Yeah.
him have a power lathe.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
we had a file. The kid whisked the file across the room. It stuck the other guy in the head. He just went to the nurse. It wasn't a big deal. He, he's bleeding all the place. He took him to the nurse. He had a
Yeah.
file in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Put some
that
tape on
guy learned some stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's
And
the
also,
difference.
shop teachers were always crazy.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you
they were.
remember.
Yeah, Mr. George.
8th grade, I forget
Yeah.
what the guy's name was, but first day he goes, he's like 60 years old. He looks around, he goes, 2 of you in here will be dead before I am.
Yeah.
And that's how we started shop class.
Yeah.
So,
Welcome.
Okay.
Welcome
And
to
how
shop.
was his career as a motivational speaker?
Yeah.
Exactly. I
But
wonder if he's still
anyway,
around.
So he's making them, but once again, to relate, it's this wealth of knowledge, right? I don't have to look it up. Like we redid Steve's car, I would stand there and he'd tell me what to do,
Mhm.
but I learned some stuff, right?
Yeah,
The core
absolutely.
thing I
Yeah.
did good on.
You really good.
Cleaning the chrome, that
Yeah.
was fantastic.
I,
And then you
we didn't
threw it
need the
out.
chrome, but yeah, Art would always look for something to do. Here, polish this all day. He'd be polishing, and he'd.
Sounds like a father-son relationship.
Yeah.
Doing a great job, son.
Yeah,
Go over there.
It was a lot like
Stay away
that.
from the carburetor.
Yeah. Don't touch that part.
Yeah.
Polish this.
Because he always has to be doing something. Like he's
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
So you'd give him something, and he would be happy, polishing away, and
And then look, the new chrome came.
yeah.
Why was I polishing the old chrome?
So I believe we've
Yeah.
officially digressed.
Yeah.
I believe
Well,
a little
that's
bit,
okay.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
But once
You're
again,
listening?
it's okay.
You're
Yeah.
listening to The Man in the Arena. You're listening to, of course, Arthur Lee. I'm Rick Fatscher,
Mike
Mike
Singer.
Singer, and Patrick O'Rourke. And you will be back. We will be back after this brief message.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was in the living room when I heard my son Carter, who was 2 at the time. I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the LifeVac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The LifeVac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a LifeVac.
And we're
Hey.
back.
Hey,
Welcome back to The Man in the Arena. I'm Rick Fatscher, along with Arthur Lee, Mike Singer, and Patrick O'Rourke. Guys, before the break, we were talking about from the best-selling book, Sorry, Can't Is a Lie by Arthur Lee. And again, just a reminder to go to lifevac.net. Use the code META. I say META,
Mita.
but it's Man in the
Man
Arena.
in the arena.
Yep, and there
I
it
like
is.
Mita.
For those that are
Mita,
looking,
I like it. It's
we've
like
got the
It'd be
code
like
META.
a
You'll get
cool
15%
nickname.
off
MIT.
the book,
Mita.
and this book will serve as
Mita,
your
Mita.
guide through our conversations for the next 20 some odd weeks, where we're going to be talking about each chapter of the book. And again, tonight is second part of
Part two.
removing the word can't. Well, it's called can't,
Okay.
but it's all about removing. Pat, I want to ask you, when you obviously read the book, you're a LifeVac friend,
Yes. Fan.
not only Man in the Arena.
I see myself choking
Staple.
eventually. I hope once around.
Yes, he was identified early on as most likely
Yes.
to choke at some
Arthur
point.
said, get that fat guy in.
No,
I'll choke
do you
on a steak
remember-
in a
do you
steakhouse
remember
someday.
The first when we were at Bride's show and you did the picture.
Oh, with the Heimlich or the
Yeah, with the,
Tim Weiss.
Tim Weiss.
Tim
the
Weiss from
guy who
Chicago.
saved his daughter.
always do prime picture. Prom. You're gonna get behind each other.
Yes.
But I was actually, it was interesting. You guys were talking about your databases, and I think my database filled up at like 38. Like I was full.
It could be.
And now I learn stupid things and I forget important things. Like I know Snooki has a son named Lorenzo. That's in my head. I don't know
What
any of
do
my
you think you
passwords.
lost?
I don't know any of my passwords, but I know Snooki has a son named
What do
Lorenzo.
you think you lost to remember?
Everything,
Snooki's
all
kid?
important things, like parallel parking, can't remember. But Snooki has a son named Lorenzo. I should change all my passwords to Lorenzo. I swear.
I'll never forget
And
anything.
But
also
I'm fascinated by
broadcasting
guys
is
like
probably
you
a good
can keep
idea.
taking stuff in. I'm not that smart.
No, but that's a good point. Like, we used to know all our friends' phone numbers,
Yes.
our parents' phone numbers.
Well, I actually
our
worked in the
phone
commodity
numbers.
exchange for a couple of years, so I had to learn all the numbers from Europe too, and they're like 16 digits.
And
Wow.
do you
I was
use
I was a runner on the commodity exchange,
Right.
and you had your book, and I had like 20 biggest customers, and you had to go back and dial 16 numbers every time.
Yeah, I remember working in air freight and knowing all the, we had to
Yeah,
talk to
all the
people all over the
codes.
country, and I could call Chicago, LA, whatever, with just dialing it.
Now I can't get in my bathroom at work.
No,
It's a 4-digit code.
I don't think I know my home phone number.
Code
Yes.
again. What's the code?
Yes.
But getting back to the book, can't. This removing the word from your vocabulary, it would apply not only to the stories of LifeVac and the quest to introduce this life-saving device, but also you think about motivational for students, sports, work.
Well, Pat, what did you think when you read that chapter?
I think what you can take from that is there's an old saying that obsessive people, obsessions sometimes aren't good for you, but nothing great comes from everything great in the world comes from an obsession. Someone just said, I'm refusing to take this as a no. I'm going to figure this out. So that's what I got from that is it's just motivational where you just don't take it you don't say can't, just keep plowing forward.
But here's and it was cool because last night we went dinner and we honored Jim Kerr.
Jim
the
Kerr,
famous
radio
guy,
legend.
which was
Great
really
voice.
cool.
We're
but-
small.
Yeah.
Jim Kerr, big,
Yes.
giant in the
No,
industry.
well, we're all over the country.
Yeah,
But-
we're getting there.
We're island wide.
But the point, one of
Free
the guys afterwards, after the show came up, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I talk to our sales group with this philosophy? I want to give them the chapter. I want them to read it, and I want them to understand because, as we talked about in the first show, there's a micro and a macro. If you get rid of it and you say, hey, you want to come watch the game? I can't make it, right? Well, that's a lie. You could, but you may have something to do. You may not want to go, but the micro is you pause and you go, I won't be able to, right? More appropriate, more honest. I could go, but I choose not to, right? So in the micro, it makes you properly evaluate that question, not immediately go, I can't. Because how many times you say that, and then that night you're like, crud, I should have went. This sucks, right? So with you, though, in the LifeVac world is the macro, right? That's where you have this database of skill and knowledge and confidence that is now in a phone that we use to how are you?
We still live? We still live,
No, I
Bob?
think we all did.
Hello, Bob.
Bobby?
Hello, Bob.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to forge on. Bobby, you let us know if this is
We can get
being
over
recorded.
this.
Yeah.
This could be very
This is a
difficult.
perfect example. Keep talking. loud.
Broadcast this over. We'll just yell.
Yes.
LA is going to be a little
We're
tricky.
taking a break.
Houston.
Bobby, are we
All right.
well,
no,
we can't hear anything.
We're getting no echo.
No
The
mics.
mic's died.
No mics. Hello. Are we working?
All right.
I'm
Yeah,
back
we're,
on
we're
now.
good. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
you know who's going to love this portion of the show? Noah Fleischman.
yeah,
back at the
Noah's gonna
studio,
get us.
back at
Our
WOR.
producer,
Yeah.
we have
He's a legend in
producer.
the industry.
We do.
He's going to say rookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
he is. That's okay.
Yes.
We're human.
Yeah.
He was
Anyway.
And
the
we're rookies.
man in the arena.
Yes.
The man in
Makes
the
him
arena.
say it that way. So the point was that
Yeah, let's get back.
your,
Yes.
your
Three.
database,
3, 2, 1. The database.
that makes it better.
No,
Oh.
we just have a break for that.
All
Yeah.
right. But your ability to pull from your database to do something new. Like we went to the show for the mold guys, right?
Yep.
Well, you had some knowledge of what that was about and how to machine a mold. And I learned a lot because you can't make a hook. It's got to be able to come
Right,
out of the mold.
right.
That was fun and
Yeah,
it was
a
cool.
Two-piece mold.
Yeah. And when it came apart, it had to be able to release and the pressures and temperatures. But the without your database, the confidence to not say you can't do that, right away. You
Yeah.
said, I'm in. We'll do it. and that was cool, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And
Oh,
it
no,
would
we did
never
it.
happen
Yeah, we
without
did it together.
And when things come your way,
Electric
requests,
yeah, oh,
it's
God.
it's not. Yes,
Yeah.
it's usually we can do that. We'll
Of
figure
Oh,
it out.
absolutely.
Can
but
we
that's what
ship?
you need.
I
Can we
always
ship
think at
to
it.
Rockland County?
Yeah.
Can we get 1,000 units there by?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do it.
But even to
100%.
your habit of it's a good rule to have in life where should I go to that wake? Should I go to that? If you think about it 2 or 3 times,
Right.
you should go.
Right.
And that's sort of that first chapter is like that's the right thing to do. Do it.
Right.
Don't say don't
Right.
regret it later. Do it.
Yeah.
And going back to when
And
you got
I'll
the
tell
idea.
I'll tell you what happens when you get rid of it. You don't even do those 3 times, right? When there's something like that,
It's just
you go, I'm
second
going,
nature now. Yeah, you just
right?
go. Yep.
and then you deal with whatever you just blew off, right? But if that becomes the priority right away, it's easy. And a lot of things, and I hope and it was cool that guy came up and said, "Can I use it?" Because he was thinking. It made him think of why this is useful to get rid of the word. A lot of things in the book are to simplify your life. You don't question those things. You just go. And whatever you got to get rid of, you do. And that's LifeVac, right? Once we decided we had to save people, and we couldn't just have it. Then it was whatever happened didn't matter. We were going, and I had Mike to figure out the real way to do it.
So much possibilities.
Yeah.
You're listening to Arthur Lee on The Man in the Arena. I'm Rick Fatscher, along with Mike Singer and Patrick O'Rourke, and we're talking about removing the word can't. It's so paramount. We talked about it in the first episode of talking about this, removing the word can't. That night that you were contemplating visiting your friend Steve Oliveri, whose mother was in the hospital, and you talk about in the description. You had other options.
You know what? It's just what Pat said.
Mhm.
I was tired. I was driving home from work, right? With long days in the air freight world, crazy world. And he was in there with his mom and by himself. I'm going, right? I wanted to go home, go to bed, watch TV, but that was gone.
It's the right thing
I
to
said,
do.
I'm going by, I'll go see him. And, going to see your dad.
Yeah.
It was cruddy, rainy day.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go. I wanted to see you. I wanted to
And
see him.
ended up
And
being
we
what
had
a
a
night.
great day.
What a night. Yeah. Yeah.
What a great day.
Yeah.
And I think when you boil it down, like Pat said, and get rid of, just do the right thing.
Yeah.
You got to go see someone, be a friend, whatever you got to do. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
And
And it was
it
special
makes it
moments. It
simple.
makes those special moments. 'Cause
Yeah.
that I'll never forget that. And
right.
he's gone now, but
Yeah.
he remembered that to the end. He was actually asking
But
for
think
it.
about
Yeah.
in such a trying time,
Yeah.
how much fun we had that
Yeah,
day.
that was just a great night. Bad times.
Yeah.
But
A good
if you
time.
didn't show up, it was a great
Yeah.
time. And he was alert and
Yeah.
making jokes. And then
He
the
was
next,
so funny.
the next days, looking at my sister's there waiting for some. It's like, Arthur. Like,
It was
she's
so
like,
funny.
she looks at me. She's like,
Yeah.
like why? And,
Where's-
but
where's
somewhere
Arthur?
in his brain, then he
Yeah.
was kicking around like the laughs
But
we were having.
that face she must have gave you, and you
Yeah.
know.
Oh
it,
yeah, it's
and,
just funny.
and
So this was at Southside,
Yes,
I believe, hospital, and
Yeah.
you lost your
Yeah.
dad.
Uh,
I thought it was a great testament to your friendship.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the gentleman to my right.
Yeah.
And again, I'm painting the picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Arthur Lee, the great tribute to your dad
Oh, that
with the
was
American
awesome.
Vet Dogs.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
So
yeah,
we-
it was great.
so we,
I can't even wait like this.
yeah,
just
me too.
to see him, and then it just was
Boy, we're
great.
covering a lot of
Yeah.
things. These are a lot of teasers for
Yeah.
the listening
Yes.
audience.
Yeah.
Of all the wonderful
Yes.
stories. that
So
are yet
American
to
Vet
come.
Dogs has
Yeah.
been, we've been blessed and to
Yeah.
honor
They have no
Mike's
idea what
dad.
we're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
American
kinda
Vet
cool.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Right?
In honor of your dad.
Everyone
Tell
listening
them about
like,
Opie
what the
Singer.
hell are they
Yeah,
talking
well,
about?
they sponsored a dog for my dad
The
that
LifeVac.
passed, and they would LifeVac. The dog's not born yet, but he's when
Well, he
he is
hasn't been.
born.
He hasn't been named. He might have.
No,
been.
I don't think she said that
Okay.
he wasn't born yet. But when he is, then he'll go into training, and it'll be like a year and a half or 2 years. He'll get all this extensive training,
That'd be cool.
and
Though.
then
We'll get to hang out
he'll
with
be
him,
given
see
to
him.
a vet, some vet somewhere that needs a support dog, and no
like a
matter what he is.
veteran, not a veterinarian.
Yeah, no, not a.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't. But who cares?
yeah,
Yeah.
a
And
vet.
there-
Yeah, put him down.
They got hundreds of dogs.
Good job.
Yeah, that'd be dumb.
And just
Yeah.
so happens that
Who drives a vet?
conveniently,
Yeah, yeah.
American Vet Dogs,
Yeah.
about a mile away from
Yes,
LifeVac
yeah,
headquarters.
just- yeah, right in our backyard.
It's so impressive, and we
Yeah.
love it. You're listening to Mike Singer from LifeVac.
Yes.
Arthur Lee.
Yep.
Patrick
From LifeVac.
O'Rourke, and I'm Rick Fatscher. We're on The Man in the Arena. We're talking about this great book,
Mm.
Arthur, why should people get now? I wanted to go back to when you started writing it, but you've been living this philosophy from your dad, and
Yeah, a lot of stories being little, throwing rocks and getting in fights and Little Rascals movies, but it's accumulation of how we learn, right? Because that's what's leaving us, the ability to learn. Look it up, right? 2 seconds. How many home runs Babe Ruth have? I don't know. Look it up now. There's the answer, but you don't know it.
714. I know it.
Yeah, of course. See,
So you don't
but
know.
that's
I know
now
sports.
we
I know a
know
lot of
to
useless
go-
stuff that
and
gets me nowhere in life.
Snooki's kids. So
Exactly.
I'm interesting on a plane, but it gets me nowhere in life. I know a lot of stupid stuff.
Google that.
on a side
Hey,
note,
got you. So it's got you this far.
Yeah.
important to know where to go. Like you identified Mike's wealth of knowledge in certain areas. I have a go-to guy for all things in the house. Happens to be Mike Nerney, great guy from Massapequa. Pat, you probably have the same Rolodex of experts in your circle.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not good at the house stuff. Yes, you need
Right,
these people.
but the key to this elimination of this word, it's step down the path, right?
Mhm.
Because the challenge is not the past knowledge, it's the future knowledge. If we rely on finding the answer, right, and having it and handing it and moving on, we don't have a database of things to pull from to challenge something we don't know the answer. Right, you couldn't Google non-invasive suction device and it come up with nothing because it didn't exist. So, but getting rid of that word changes the way you think. Right, makes you more honest, and eventually, what'll happen, or what happened to me, you don't even think of what you quote unquote can't do because you're not allowed to say the word. So whatever happens, you say, we ran out of gas. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
But the situation is, whatever happens,
Right.
you don't lament, we can't start the car. No, you say, why won't the car start? How do I get it? Put gas in.
Problem
Right.
solving.
So
101.
we ran out of gas in the middle of a parade
parade, yeah,
once,
parade.
but
You
we
promised me. It's
thought
not
it was
the-
the battery.
Yeah. Did we run out of gas? No. Okay. Maybe
Maybe
we
it's
got to get a
battery.
battery.
We did.
Put a battery in
Wait,
it.
finish that story. Did everyone just pass by you in the parade?
Yes, the whole
Yeah.
parade. We ended
We
up
had a
all by
section-
ourselves.
And it's in the
It's in the
opening.
montage,
Yeah.
for God's
We're
sakes.
all
I'd
in the
love to have filmed
car,
that.
throwing out shirts, and all of a sudden, the middle of the parade, everyone's going around us. We're pushing it off.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point was that then we had to figure out why the car didn't go. But the first thing was not lamenting it can't start,
Well,
it
we
can't,
can't
do
finish.
this, we can't push. We
Right.
just said push
Yes,
it
I
over.
can.
Let's figure it out.
Let's go.
That was-
Yeah.
And that's the point. The more you get rid of that word, changes the way you attack a subject. You're more
Mhm.
honest with yourself and with others, and you think differently.
But people were telling you can't.
Yeah.
They were lying, but they were telling you that about the FDA,
Yeah.
about
Well, the initial one, they were right.
Yeah.
and you said that there were other voices, maybe
Yeah,
you know,
well, a lot
friends
of
that
it,
didn't
a
get
lot
it.
of what
Right.
it what was,
Oh, yeah,
a lot of it was you're gonna get sued. You sold your company, you could retire. This is crazy. You're gonna get in trouble. How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna prove it works? How are you gonna present it to the FDA? But Mike never said any of that
Right.
stuff. A lot of it we didn't even know was gonna happen.
No,
So we were like, we'll
I
make
was like,
it through that.
just
Figure it out.
Whatever. Yeah. Should work.
But part of me is that's part of also what you need. If you get too many limitations put on you when you start something, you may get scared, you may chicken out,
Yeah.
you may stop.
Yeah.
But when you get
You know
get
it
rid of
works.
it.
Like when you know if something works and you've made it and you've gone through the testing and you know that the function is going to work no matter what, right? It's just suction. So that's why in the beginning we were like, but once we realized that it's just suction and it's going to work, we just kept pushing. Right?
Me
It's
and
like,
him went
yeah.
in and tested it on cadavers.
I wanted to talk
you-
about
but
that.
talk
So
about-
thank you for
But talk
bringing it up.
about a can do.
Yes.
So say we need cadavers. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
He finds us a place with cadavers that let us come in and
right there
play
on
with
John
it.
Street in Hicksville. That's where
Duffy
most
Street.
people go
best people
Duffy
in the whole
Street
world.
for their
Best
all
people
their
in the world.
cadaver needs.
Yes.
They go
Go to
there.
the-
You
yes.
knew.
Was it cadavers or us?
Yeah. What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need, kid?
Yeah.
You need the top. You need the bottom. You need the feet.
I would
I
recommend
do
staying
find out
away
if
from
you,
the buffet.
If you donate your body to science, Your
It's
family
gonna be a
doesn't get
lot
much
of
back.
fun.
Evidently.
No,
Yeah.
it's
But they
all
may, you
over
may
the
get like a
place.
toe back or
Right.
something, but you get something to bury at some point.
But that
I
was-
hate to use the
that
word,
was
but I
quite-
think they can't breathe.
Yeah, it's tough.
Not
But
at
it was
the moment.
Yes,
yeah.
we can
So,
fix that.
so I was a cop for 20 years. You know, all kinds of disgusting things, car accidents, people shooting them, all that stuff. But I have to say, going there and she was a cool girl, right? The girl that was
Yeah,
helping
she was
us.
very cool.
Because she was just nonchalant, right? And the place was nice. The TV monitors
It was
everywhere, it
beautiful.
smelled clean.
Yeah.
It was like a disco. But then they rolled out this
A
person.
disco, a disco with cadavers.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the person, they roll
I don't
over and
think
it's like,
that
okay,
ever
here you go. And you're like,
took up.
I'm like, oh man, like this is real.
Yeah.
Like that's some guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I said a little prayer of gratitude to the person.
Yeah.
But it was
I was holding my
definitely-
nose.
Mike, did
No,
you,
it
did
was
you
a
join
little
in the
crazy.
prayer?
I didn't at that time because I was a little.
seen a
I
lot.
was a little nauseous. I have to say, I'm a little embarrassed. But I was
That's
like, oh man, it's like,
That's why
it's like,
disco's
'cause,
dead.
you know, I don't want to be too graphic.
God,
But
you would have loved it.
you ask for like just the torso, so they give you just the torso
Yeah.
and the head.
Look like
so there was,
Charlie.
everything else was missing. You know, so it's
Yeah,
like
well, like our choking Charlies.
so little,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You
So
get a
it's-
little
it's-
creeped out sometimes
Yeah.
with Charlie.
So at one point, I'm like, I get moved to sink. I like took the cold water, I put it on my neck. I'm like, okay, let's get back in there.
Yeah.
You know, but then you're doing the suction on some guy. You know,
And what was the
and I don't
obstruction?
wanna-
Just curious.
So
What was
a hot dog. We used hot dogs.
a lot like Costco?
Well, we
Yes, a lot.
we did, and then
Yeah.
we used the different size objects. Remember,
Yeah.
we measured them and stuff. I don't even know what we got, ping pong balls or
Yeah.
something. But
Oh,
we
yeah,
had
yeah.
3 different sizes,
Yeah.
and
You
we
should
had
have
to know
filmed
how
that.
far
I
we put
wanna-
it in.
Yeah, and then we were, we didn't want to put it too far, and then
Right.
we would,
Yeah.
and it was basically a vacuum.
This sounds
on
like a
it.
great infomercial.
So if you're
Yeah.
listening
Yeah,
down
yeah.
in
See,
LA,
this is what your friend Lisa was
Yeah.
looking for, a demonstration and more
Yes.
hands-on.
Yes.
She came
Yeah.
here for the
Yeah, she's very
demonstration of
lean.
life.
Yeah, I
Hack.
think I
Yeah.
still have the old
Shove
white
this
back
down
that we
his
used
throat.
at the cadaver lab.
oh good,
Yeah.
oh good.
Yeah.
Right.
But after you know it works, like it was just full steam ahead. Like you always knew, even though all the roadblocks, everything else, we always were.
Well, I think we're going to get into that as
You weren't
the
gonna be
shows
denied.
go on too, because there is a cultural society difference of why it took 11 years
Yeah.
for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Red Cross to say, they
Mhm.
recommend doing it instead of
Right.
letting someone die. But I think as we get through these shows, you're going to see kind of our moral corruption, and I think it ties into Can't is a Lie, because we can't use that. It's not in this. We can't use this. The state didn't tell us. So it's not this, right? Now, you're thinking about, you're talking to a person with a school, 60 schools that had a child die. We contacted early on and said, we'll give you one. Now we give one to every school, but now the Red Cross says you should do it. So yes, they're doing it, but they said, oh no, we don't want it. Now they had a kid die.
Mhm.
So that'll come into it. But if they were his brain or my brain with this philosophy, they wouldn't say we can't have it. They'd say, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take
of
it.
course, yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
We could save this kid. If it doesn't work, it's not going to matter because he's going to die anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
So we'll see
Along the way.
as we go that there's moral connections to everything we do too.
How much time we got?
You're listening to Arthur Lee, along with Mike Singer and Patrick O'Rourke and myself, Rick Fatscher. The Man in the Arena will be back. So join us on the other side.
I have a little info commercial.
I'm sorry to bother you, but I have 30 seconds to give you a very important message. My name is Arthur Lee. I'm the CEO and inventor of LifeVac, a simple choking rescue device that could save a life in a choking emergency. We've saved over 3,000 lives now, but we're not there. 5,000 people a year choke to death, one child every 5 days. Please consider protecting your family in a choking emergency with LifeVac. Go to lifevac.net today. Thank you for your time.
And we're back on the Man in the Arena. We're talking about removing the word can't. We're talking about all things about this in this book, Sorry, Can't is a Lie, but primarily focused on that first chapter, second part, talking about removing the word can't. And you, before the break, Arthur, you were talking about some of the barriers that the people were telling you, of course, that we don't say it, but that you're not going to be able to
Right, good,
do
well
this.
done, Rick.
So it was the folks worried about the FDA,
Oh,
the
they're not
schools. You can't put it
allowed,
in the school.
Yeah, they no, because we become a society that you have to be told. We're no longer allowed to use our own brains and say, suck it out, the kid's going to die.
Mhm.
The two, I still remember two of the first fire departments that put it in. They both said, we think it'll work, and it's another tool in the bag. That's because they see it, right? The police see it, right? So they're not the ones fighting you. It's the bureaucracy type situations, the legalese,
The fear.
and it's backwards because you're not supposed to let someone die. You're supposed to do anything reasonable. The Red Cross stipulation suggesting to use it, recommending, is hopefully the end of that battle. But for the show, it's more about the moral turpitude, right? Think about it. You would let a child die because you're afraid you'll get in trouble. Not me. And I don't think anyone sitting here would. You'd save the kid.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'll deal with it.
Right.
But
Or try
you'll see.
anyway, right?
Yeah,
You
it'll
try
come
everything
out.
you possibly.
What did you want to pitch? You gonna
So
pitch something?
it's again, it goes to your people not being able to make a decision. So this could happen to anybody, and it's just a heads up to public service.
Mike
So
Singer, everybody.
We're driving into Freeport the other day, town here on Long Island, and evidently they have plate readers everywhere today, right? They could track you no matter where
Electronic
you go.
surveillance, you're talking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it came up in our vehicle that it had a suspended insurance, right? We don't have suspended insurance, but evidently our registration came up suspended. We had no idea. We've been paying our bills. But so the police officer stops us, right? And let's go back to your not being able to make a decision. He pulls us over and says, oh, computer says you have no insurance. Well, I have this paperwork says I have insurance, right? I'll give you more, right? I'll bring you a letter from State Farm. It says I have insurance the whole time and no lapses occurred. But he was unable to make that determination and say,
The computer
got
says.
a letter.
The computer
He's got
says.
he kept showing me the computer. Oh, the computer says. He says, you
Can't
got to
be
go to
wrong.
DMV and fix this, right? He takes my vehicle, impounds it, and gives me the plates back. No, he doesn't even, he takes the plates as well. But this could have happened to me anywhere, right? Anywhere this could have happened. I had no idea that my insurance was suspended. Been paying my bills, so there's no way of me checking. I can't run my plate. Nobody can. You can. I can't. Right?
Is there an infomercial
So
in here?
Yeah, there's an infomercial saying that people should be aware of checking their insurance because this could happen to anybody anyway. This happened to me today on the way here. That's why I'm like this, because I just left Freeport to get my car back. It cost $1,000.
So we have
And
folks
that's what they're
listening
worried
in
about
Los
Freeport.
Angeles,
Yeah,
and Houston, Orlando, New
that's the
York. The
problem
message
in
to you:
Freeport.
Yeah.
check
I
your
have insurance,
So,
and I had documentation that I had insurance, but he wasn't able to make a
welcome to
decision.
the Insurance in the
Yes.
Arena show.
Yeah.
But it goes
Sorry.
back to saying that today they only know what they see.
Right, but
Like the
that's
computer,
the
I
good
don't know.
point.
I can't make
Not
that.
computer says.
Yeah. Yeah.
Computer
Then he
says.
sends me to DMV and they don't know
I
either.
remember
What do you
the
think about
airport,
car warranties? There?
90-year-old, a 90-year-old guy goes
Right.
through the airport thing and it beeps.
Yeah.
And they bring him over the strip that's charging him. I'm like,
My mother-in-law was
pretty
90
sure
years
he's
old.
okay.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
not.
She was
doing
90 years old. They made
Oh.
her. They go up. This is the one. Yeah.
Right, but that goes.
Yeah, this is the
that'll
one.
that'll
Okay.
come out in
Good
the
luck with her.
moral dilemmas that we face. The lack
Yeah.
of common sense
Right.
and being able to make a good decision and saying, "I'm okay."
Right.
You know, you're good. You're
Yeah.
90. I don't know why.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
You're
Yeah,
not
go
gonna
ahead. Yeah.
Destroy.
I don't
the
think you
point.
have a shoe bomb.
Yeah. You know who we should check in with? You know, man in the arena always goes to
Yes.
Mr. 3000,
Yeah,
Ray
that's just-
Priebe.
And who saved-
Good evening, guys. How y'all doing today?
Yes, Mr. Priebe. How are you today?
We are wonderful. Wonderful.
You're Austin, your assistant?
Yes, got Austin, my assistant here.
Hello.
He's
Stay
excited.
calm,
He's
stay
excited
calm.
for his first appearance on the new set.
You're going out in 5 different states now, Austin. So
I love it. I love that we're in 5 different states.
yeah, I had a talk today. We're getting some traction. So we had some interest from some other states. So we'll see.
Looks like your son has more homework to do.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
So for those that are listening for the first time, Mr. 3000, we call him that because he saved his daughter. He was the 3000th save, young Maya.
Speaking of the little 3000, here
she is. Good evening, Princess 3.
Big smile.
There we go.
Yeah, right.
Hi, Maya.
Hey, young lady.
All right. So what do you got today, Ray?
All right, what do we have here? All right, the latest numbers are we have 3,416 saves to date.
Wow.
That's like 50 this week.
I know.
That's,
I know.
wow.
You got one too?
We have 33 saves just this week alone from January 9th to January 16th, 33 saves.
Wow. Crazy.
And we have 416 saves in 88 days from that October 20th of number 3,000.
Wow.
Incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
416 saves.
Yeah.
Incredible. And we have to stress the importance of folks that are listening and impressed by the numbers. And if you're not protected already, please go to the website. You got to be careful of the knockoffs. LifeVac.net. Get yourself and your family protected. LifeVac.net. Beware of of course, Lisa Warner is very concerned with the
Yeah.
knockoffs. She's very vigilant.
This-
But we
Very
thank you so
polite.
much. And we're gonna
I do want to do the highlight of the week. It's a
highlight
big
of the
one.
week.
Highlight of the week is a 15-month-old girl
Oh my God.
who choked on vomit
Mm.
due to a seizure she had while in her crib. I have a statement from the mom here that I'm going to read, and it's pretty powerful. So she had a seizure in her crib, which she had never had before. She had vomited and at the same time choked on her vomit. She became unresponsive. By the time we got into her room and tried everything to get her back, we remembered we had a LifeVac. I tell you, without that, she would be dead. I am CPR certified, and in my profession, I am trained in pediatrics. So I have a lot of knowledge and experience with children, but without LifeVac, she would not be here.
Wow.
That
Good
really
stuff.
brings it home, don't it, Ray?
Yeah.
Big statement right there. Big statement.
Well, as always, I appreciate you sharing your time and we always mention it was a God wink that you made the 3,000 save because you're such an advocate and such a friend and such a person determined to make a difference. And that's
Absolutely.
why LifeVac exists, because we all made a conscious effort to say, no matter what, we're going to make a difference. And
LifeVac saved my daughter, so I will be here wherever I can for LifeVac.
He certainly does not know the word can't.
no,
Yeah.
that's what, but that's, if you notice, that's what happens.
Yes.
You're in something that's terribly or tremendously difficult. The similarity will be people that, like Pat said, it's got to be done. We're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that word doesn't exist. So amazing.
Man,
So before I take off, I just want to say God bless. Have it and not need it. Don't need it and not have it.
Man.
Yeah.
that's his mantra.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Love
Ray.
you guys.
Oh, man. That's it.
Big Paul. We're going to see him
At Brian.
at Brian's
And we'll all
show.
be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big date coming up in Jacksonville. We have the.
We should
think
make
have the
we should
graphic.
do a show from there.
We could.
Right?
We could record. Why not?
Why not?
From the
We'll
theater.
Be there.
Listen, if
I'm
you're going to
busy
be
on show day.
especially for those folks listening to
pirate
News
in you?
Radio in Orlando,
Yeah.
WFLA. Sundays at 8 a.m. You're listening. It's
Yeah.
nice Sunday morning. Think about coming over to Jacksonville, February 15th for
Orlando's
Brian
not
Kilmeade.
far.
They're the stations that
Orlando's
we're
not
on. We're
far.
on in Houston, New York, Orlando.
Isn't that amazing to
Yeah.
see?
Joining us
Yeah.
with joining the
Brian
LifeVac
Kilby,
family.
that's always a great show too. It's
Oh, yeah.
always entertaining.
Well, I was just
He
thinking
gives
that
us
I
perfect-
started laughing because Pat comes out in the pirate outfit.
Yeah.
And Rick's like, hey, I can't deal with you're a pirate. He's like, I'm not a pirate.
Yeah.
He's like, you're wearing a pirate outfit.
Yeah.
What are you,
Don't give it away.
what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I
The,
ruined
the-
that
the
stick.
early part of the show is great too. When he comes, he just talks to the audience, and right in the beginning.
He's a great speaker.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
just like,
no,
what a
it's a good
super
show. It's
nice
worth it.
guy.
He's a guy who can't isn't his vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
but
just
once
another
again,
guy.
that's
Yeah,
how you
Everyone
do
told
great
him
things.
you can't do this, you
Right.
can't do this, you
Yeah.
can't do this. And he just
And
plowed
he-
ahead.
That's
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
Peanuts parents talking.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't
Good
hear
guy.
it, doesn't
No.
know it.
No,
Yeah, so
that's
we'll all
good.
be together.
Yeah.
February 15th. If you're going to be in the
February
area,
15th. Yeah, get there.
reach
What a
out.
fun
Reach
time.
out to.
Hey, our audience will be there. We're
Yeah.
done.
of course.
I know. We'll
We're
bring in
taking-
our audience.
We're taking the whole team.
Yeah.
We're flying the whole studio audience
Yeah.
out tonight.
That's it.
Well, it's like
Everybody wants
You're
to come
going.
down.
You're going.
Yeah,
You're
you're
everyone
going.
gets a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Hey,
come
Florida
down.
in February doesn't
Jacksonville.
sound too bad.
No,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to pull that off.
Yeah. Where is it? Where is it going to be?
Jacksonville.
Where in Jacksonville? You know?
Jackson, Florida
The
Theater.
theater. The
Florida Theater, it's
He's got a
called.
flight. He's got a room. Where is it?
Florida Theater in
Well,
Jacksonville.
people out there might want to know where
Yeah,
it is.
it's almost
Go
sold
down
out.
there. Come
Almost
on.
Well,
sold
the
out.
important
Give 'em a
thing,
plug.
Do you know where
I'm
it is?
giving Brian a little plug.
the important
Yeah,
thing
he
is
needs
to
to
reach
know.
out. The important thing is to reach out to us, and we have a ticket for
Yeah,
you.
we'll have a ticket for you.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on
we're
out.
giving one to first responders in the area. I still
Yeah.
think we got like 20 left that we could give out. So
Yeah.
the Orlando
Call
listeners,
in now.
It's getting
Yeah.
close to getting sold out.
You're
Yeah.
a first
Getting close.
responder,
Yeah, it's gonna be
police,
sold out
fire.
for sure.
Call the station,
Give us
reach
a
out
call.
to us,
Yeah,
and
they
we'll
give
see
you-
you
get a
February
book.
15th in Jacksonville.
Get yourself a signed book.
You know, you've been listening to the Man
Yeah.
in the Arena.
Yeah.
Mike Singer, along with Arthur Lee, CEO and inventor of LifeVac, Patrick O'Rourke.
Let's offer a meet and greet too if they come out to the show.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Out in the street.
we have
Yeah, on the street. Yeah.
Can
yeah.
meet
Hey, how
us.
you doing?
I have to
Yeah.
pay
How
to
you
get in
doing?
Saddle Rock. How you doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be online with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
And
You
we
buy me a
thank
beer?
we thank Ray Priebe. We thank these guys, and we'll be right back after this message. Bobby, it's okay if you don't go to a break.
Let's hear it for Slick.
I was in the living room when I heard my son Carter, who was 2 at the time. I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the LifeVac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The LifeVac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a LifeVac.
And we're back on the Man in the Arena. I'm Rick Fatscher, along with Arthur Lee, CEO and inventor of LifeVac, Mr. Mike Singer, and Patrick O'Rourke. And we've been talking about this great book. We can't put it down. Sorry, can't is a lie. We've been talking about the first chapter.
You just said I can't put it down.
I was gonna say,
I broke the rule right there. There is.
Maybe
I
we
will
should
not
have a
put it
new
down.
title.
I will not put this
Is
down.
there?
I could put it down.
Yeah, I could, but
I will not put
choose
this
not
down.
to.
Put it
It's
down.
just I can't. Well, there it
There it
is.
is again.
See?
Did it again?
It's
You're
tough.
learning.
It's
Now
tough.
You're learning.
Now it's kind of
It's
in my
tough.
head.
It's
Yeah.
tough
It's
to
in
get
my
Spell
rid of it.
check.
It
Yeah.
really is.
And this has actually been the second installment of
Well,
talking about that
as
first
we
chapter.
go
'cause
through
it's
the
important.
chapters, we could extend them. We could
Absolutely.
do double chapters.
It's our show.
Our next week is perfection. I think that's a one show thing, but it will make you think the way we look at it. You know,
How does that limit?
well, once again, it'll be a discussion, but the theory is that, you know, when I was making the treehouse and someone said, oh, you know, I could never work because it was, you know, I just made it up, right? The treehouse. And he was like, oh, I couldn't work like this. It would have to be perfect. I would have to have those angles. And in my head, I said, well, then you probably never have a treehouse.
Right.
You
Mhm.
just
Never gonna
talked yourself out of a treehouse because
Too much work.
they're not perfect. You're building a house on a tree. Trees move, it's thing. And so that next discussion will kind of be another path that we
Right.
look at to say, what is holding us back? Right. And I've had people read the book and do reviews and saying that was a big chapter for them because they first time ever realized it might be a roadblock. I'd have to, I'm not going to do it. It'd take too long because it'd have to be perfect.
Right.
And then it's just an excuse that you don't realize you're doing because you're going to make it perfect or nothing.
Yes.
So it'll be cool.
It'll be
another
fun to
good
talk about the limits that try and make it perfect.
might
We'll
make-
put on,
might
folks.
Put on you.
You know what I've almost forgot to talk about is your recent trip to Pensacola. We
Yeah.
have a clip,
Oh, cool.
and we would love for it to come up and now share it with
We have
our
a clip?
audience.
Yeah,
It's a
we're-
A
clip.
new tool added to the Pensacola Police Department's toolbox. The department received a donation of 85 LifeVac devices, a suction device used to help clear an airway of someone who's choking.
To be able to have something else in our kit to be able to potentially save a life, I think it's just remarkable.
The device is meant to be used when the Heimlich maneuver either doesn't work or can't be done.
person's too big, they're in a wheelchair, they're in a bed. So we preach that you do protocol, you follow Red Cross guidelines, and then if it doesn't work or it can't be done, you have a backup to save a life.
The organizations have helped get the device to multiple law enforcement agencies, schools, and assisted living facilities across Northwest Florida.
As
A new tool
take that chapter into heart. the motorcycle group is a lot of current police, retired police, military. They don't know the word camp.
No.
So Shane just said, we're doing it.
Shane Forsman, big shout out.
And the team and his team and the riders, but great bunch of guys. A lot of experience in very difficult situations. You know, he was over in Afghanistan, Iraq, and he was wounded. But gratitude for our country and a total attitude that last time I was in Pensacola, I was on the news because a kid died in school. And now we're back donating units to the police department. And that guy speaking was the chief, cool as hell, totally on board, you know, basically saying anything we could do to make it better, like the Almonte guys.
Yeah. Who were present for the 3,000 Lives Saved party, which is just this past summer.
Great.
Yeah.
It's really all happened
Good scene,
exponentially.
too.
Pat was,
that's right.
Pat was sad. It was sad for you not to be at the 3,000, but you had an important date. You were officiating a wedding.
Oh yeah, down in Datour Island, South Carolina. Yeah,
Nice.
A friend of mine's son. I officiated a wedding. Yes.
Did you do comedy or did you?
Sometimes this one I just did all the love songs because they wanted to be light, so I was just quoting love songs.
Oh, you must have been
Yes.
itching for something.
And everyone at the end said,
Can you give us an example?
On the spot?
No, please don't.
I think we were talking about a lot on the plane.
I know, I was like,
but the point is,
love is a battlefield. I was like, I was just talking, and I just
Now I'm
talking,
talking a
and
good
then, like 3 or
marriage
4
song.
in, people started catching on. They're like, "What is it? This guy's just doing, you know?"
Yeah,
And all you need is love. That's all you need.
that was all you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love his
Terrific.
battlefield.
But when I asked him, Pat, are you going to be able to be at the 3,000 Lives Saved party? He said,
I didn't say I can't. I said I will not be there. I won't be.
Exactly
Hey,
my
way to
point.
go,
I already
Pat.
committed
That's exactly my
to
point.
Artie's point. I committed to someone else, and I did the right thing.
Yeah,
read the book.
All right.
I can't
See,
leave.
love
I can't
that.
leave them high and dry.
Yeah, you could.
Well, I will not leave them high and dry.
Yeah. We're
But
all
the
at
first
work.
made me look
It's
like Sir
tough.
Topham
It's a
Hatt.
tough word to get rid of it.
Right in the newscast, you pointed out your own transgression,
Yeah.
and you said it there. But I think it's more, it slips out, and not even that it slips out. In certain cases, it's not like you were answering
No,
a question of like, "Will you be able to do?" It was just
right. But we laughed, and it's true. But
Right.
it will make you think.
Absolutely.
Because even when you say it, and we've done it all as this, oops, I can't put it down. Hey, yes, you can. But it's okay. It's just to make you think and to
Exactly.
change the way you think, so that if you do say it, you do realize you could, and you move on.
It's
But
not like the
it
swear
will
jar.
change you to it's the biggest change I think I had from a kid. is
And
my
talk
dad saying
about,
out loud.
before we, wrap
That's
up
the
and,
biggest change.
and
from
say
being a kid.
goodbye. No, there was some other stuff. Puberty in
Hair
particular.
everywhere. It was
But
weird.
where did you
Finally growing.
where did you get that philosophy from?
My dad. In our house, that was a word you weren't allowed to say. And as you're a kid, you could learn good stuff or bad stuff. It's your world.
Mhm.
I didn't know he was cheap. I thought we were poor. I didn't know. But the real benefit was growing up that way. He was on the space program and helped put a man on the moon. That was not a word we were allowed to say. In the book, I go through the legend in the Lee family of why we don't say it. But it did make me grow up with a different mindset. And that's the real key. Not we say it here and there. It's to change your brain to say, when something happens, think of what you can do.
Embrace the possibilities.
And that, sitting here as the guys that change the world by making a sink plunger into a life-saving device. So think that way. It will change the way you approach things, and you will attract and have friends that have similar mindsets. Right?
Wow.
What'd
Yes.
you do? You had to play
Bang.
with them.
Yeah.
That's right.
What a great
Yes.
what a great note to end
Yeah.
our show on. And
Yeah.
it's been such
Next
a
time
pleasure.
I come, can we do like a skit?
Like the requests
let's
come.
do that.
Yeah, the
Yes,
requests
let's do
the
that.
requests come after the show's over,
Oh.
after we say goodbye.
Well,
Get
I'm
your
gonna
phone
ask the
out.
audience.
Yes.
Google.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to open it up
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
for
Send a
questions and
text.
suggestions
Yes,
after.
send it out.
You've been listening to Mike Singer
Yes.
with all his suggestions.
Yeah.
Arthur Lee, CEO and
Happy
inventor.
50, Greg.
Patrick O'Rourke. Always a pleasure to have you guys. And I'm Rick Fatscher, and you've been listening to The Man in the Arena. We can't wait to see you next week. Take care of yourselves.
Oh, stinker.
We will not wait to see you next week.
Did I say you can't wait?
And sing along if you know the words. It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. LifeVac and live. LifeVac and live.